So welcome back to my spatial experience learning channel, and I want to share a little bit of my piano learning experience so far. So in front of me I have this MIDICulous app, and I want to talk how how far my piano learning journey has been so far. A little bit of background history. So many years ago I used to learn Yamaha Electron organ. So it's an organ. So you play with left hand, right hand, and the feet also playing the bass. And during my many years of learning, I actually didn't learn my left hands properly. I think I only memorized the chords. So for every and each songs I learned, I remember the chord and mostly just like the basic chord. But I think I'm missing a little bit of the basic of music, piano, and I especially the way we can just play with any chord or any keys, learning by listening to the music and then just play along. And I don't have that ability, so now many years later, I try to relearn a little bit of music using piano. Okay, so the piano keyboard, I used to have Akai, but I recently got myself a Korg keyboard piano. So this is the piano chord. Okay, so it's only 3 octave. Okay, only 3 octave. It's actually a little bit short, 1 octave short. If I bought 4 octaves, it's gonna be a little bit longer, but I think 3 octave is kind of okay, like middle ground. It's not 2 octave like Akai. This one have one more octave, and that's actually changed. It's actually quite a lot, and for someone learning piano or music, this is a good size, and four octave will be better. But I want to talk about sightseeing and how you can play the piano without seeing. And it's gonna take a little bit of practice. I think I so far I have like 50 hours like constantly learning. I tried using all kind of music but and song, but basically I'm trying to learn to read properly. And so one of the important lessons by watching a lot of YouTube videos, right? One of the most important, I think, is pressing the key and the notes without seeing the keyboard. Okay, so if I go full immersive like this, I can see my hands. I cannot see the keys of my piano, but I should be able. The idea is to be able to read the musical sheets like this one. Okay, I have this one. It's actually Prelude by John Sebastian Bach. So Prelude by Bach. This in a Russian, I think, or in a French. So this is one example. It seems intimidating, but this is actually pretty good for learning. I read a book the other day. I forgot who the author is, but the author is have one book simply talking about this particular piece, and then it's good simple piece to learn piano somehow. Even though it's really this one is kind of intimidating, but I have other example where it's a little bit easier to learn. But one thing, okay, see, I couldn't see anything, right? I couldn't see my piano keyboard. I wanna teach you something. What's important, if I reveal the piano, okay, let's make it hidden for now. Let's see, if I close my eyes and I want to press do or the C key, okay, I can kind of guess. So that's the C. I can go lower and found another C. Because how do I figure it out? Because if I refill my piano keyboard, so you see this is the black key, right? Don't worry about the black key at the moment. You have left hand and right hand, and you want to find the C. Okay, you have to be able to find the C very quickly by looking at touching the black keys. Okay, touch the black key and find, if you find this gap with the two black keys, that's gonna be C. That's actually, it says C4, but actually it's C2. The middle C is this one. I think C. Yeah, don't worry about the C3, C4, whatever. This is the middle C. Okay, the normal middle C. You should try to practice to find the key C by touching the black key, and then okay, this is like, it has two black keys, so this must be C. So if I close my eyes and then okay, I found this, okay, this must be C, and then I my fingers traveling again, okay, this is middle C. So that's how you have to train yourself. And then the way you sit down, the way you sit and place the keyboard also become important. So you will be playing with left hand and right hand. Left hand predominantly, okay, the right hand will play the 2 octave from the middle C, which is over there, all the way to this is the top C. So after 2 octave, okay, while the left hand will go lower, because this is like the keyboard is not long enough, I need to go lower sometimes with the octave using this button. So that's the lowest C, like the normal. For most song pieces, 4 octave will be enough, and then there are all kind of songs you can play with just 4 octave. Sometimes 3 octave is just enough as well. So you know where your C is. How about the other landmark where you can, you have to guess where it is? It's the G, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, G, C, and G. Your hand should be able to be comfortably find the C and the G. You can find the C, and then okay, the G is kind of like over there, right? But if you also close your eyes and use the black keys, you can find the G. The G's will be just you touch the 3 black key and the G will be there, like sort of like middle down. Now I'm using this example, right? I always use this app called MIDICulous. It doesn't always give the best sounding instrument, but the nice thing, of course, this gives you the chord, the name of the chord. Don't worry about the name of the chord for now, but you can press whatever. It's gonna give you the name of the chord, and then you can take a look. Okay, the chord usually associated with left hand. So apparently this chord D minor 7 is D F C. You can also actually move the C from there to there. Hey, that's D diminished. Okay, D diminished C. Oh well. Anyhow, what my point is, this app allows you to see the chord and also see the notes in this form. Okay, like the block, the notes. With the treble and the clef, right? So the treble and the clef. So we know the placement of the key, right? Sort of like the C and the G, C and the G, and then. And the next thing I think in my learning process, F-A-C-E. F-A-C-E. If I press F-A-C-E, you can see. Okay, I need to bring this back into the original. Okay. So F-A-C-E, you see, F-A-C-E is actually placed exactly on that, the space the white space between the lines. So there's always like 5 lines, and then the 4 space will be F, A, C, E. If we go lower, the F, A, C, E will be there. It's actually touching the middle C. But this thing is the F. You can see the F here is on that line, and that's where this F key, what's the name? The symbol for treble or bass. Okay, that's the treble, that's the clef, right? Okay. Anyhow, the top, the G is marked by that symbol up there. And usually you place your hand somewhere between there. What I found funny and interesting also, because this is, I only have 3 octave, and I know this is the middle C. Whenever there's like musical sheets, they often do this. Okay, C, G, C, E, G, C, E, G. So I know that C, E, G is always physically there in my small keyboard. Okay. Sometimes, of course, you go lower than that. So if I press like all the key, this is the range of my keyboard at the moment. If I go lower 1 octave, that's the new range with that's the highest one, but it goes lower there, you see? The one with 2 lines, and the lowest one, that's the C. If I go to the highest here, that's also the one with 2 lines, that's actually C as well. Middle C will be, if I close my eyes, sometimes I miss. That's middle C. So now I want to go full screen, full immersion. Okay, now this is how I play. This is how I've been practicing when I'm fully in immersive mode. I couldn't see my keyboard. I can be lying on the sofa or sitting on the grass. I could be outdoor somewhere. Well, anyhow, here, what I have only the piano sheets, right? This thing, I can put it somewhere. This thing actually, I like to make it smaller, right? So I put it near my keyboard. I should be able to see it being augmented there. Now I want to play this piece, for example. Now it's in front of me. I'm recording this from inside Apple Vision Pro. It's actually in my vision I can see square most of the screen, but if I record this, it's gonna be cropped. Okay, the bottom, sometimes you cannot see the bottom part, but hopefully we can see both this part and that part. I'm looking at the sheet now. Okay, piano sheets. I wanna, okay, the way we play, looking at the notes, look from the most bottom notes to the most top notes. So you kind of read it quickly and look at that part. For example, you want to play, that's the G, right? G, C, E. Let me try to find the G. Guessing. Okay. Okay. So that's the key I need to press for that part. Only that part, okay? And the left hand will be playing this part. It's gonna be C, I think, C and E. You know, it's playing the lower part, but it goes really up, and that's the one with 1 line. That's the C, the middle C. That's the middle C, and then go up twice. Interval wise, it's very easy to play. I think that's how you play it, and then go to the second one. You see, it's similar, but it goes the left hand goes C and D. Okay, yeah, this is probably this song is seems pretty hard at first, but the way you can help the sightseeing or sight reading the musical notes. I think this particular piece is really good for that. Okay, you will be learning to press the that part at the top. There's actually another musical note. What's the name? Flower Field or Lily by Japanese musician. I think I played in the previous video. That part is interesting because it's doing this. So it's doing this C E G, right? C E G. And it goes down and it's kind of like a loop that helps you practicing the position of the key, the notes you press on the left hand. So my weakness is the left hand, right? I already mentioned my right hand is kind of okay. I can read the right part. So what's happening with this prelude is that the the key notes being pressed are very similar. There's a repetition, but you move the interval slightly move from one to the next. So you kind of your brain starting to kind of doing the loop and repeat, and you kind of guess the next one. You always look at the next one. You play, for example, the first one, but your eyes kind of traveling and already preparing for the next one. That's actually very important in actually sight reading musical notes. Okay, so let's try again. Yeah, this particular song. So that kind of practice will help you touching the right key without looking. And the song never goes beyond that C, so that's kind of the point. The highest range will be that key, and this particular song is kind of similar. Okay, so let's make this closer. Let's try again. Okay, that's definitely a C, middle C. I shouldn't see unless I can still see, I can, because let's say I'm still learning. This is my first time and I want to play this piece by Bach. So that's left hand, very easy. Your ears, you're also kind of practicing your ears. The funny thing about this piece, if you press the wrong keys, it sounds wrong. And this piece is probably in C major. It didn't tell you the chord. That's the thing with the classical music. Okay. Okay. Let me say also. The reason I'm relearning piano, maybe I want to be able to play any song in a kind of like a jazz way, you know. Jazz is a lot about improvisations, and that's the thing I wanted to learn. But in order to do the jazz things, I first need to learn the classical method, and the classical method is very strict. Okay, this is what I say. It's very strict. It's very what should I say? Brutal. Yeah, very strict. You cannot make mistakes with classical. Okay, you cannot make mistakes. If you want to learn any song very quickly, you can learn the method where you learn the melody using numbers, like a janpu method. You have notes in numbers. You don't need to be able to read these musical sheets. Numbers and chords, and then learn the chords, and then learn the pattern. Very quickly you can play many songs like that. But this method with classical and trying to eventually can do like jazz improvisation, maybe I want to learn by doing the classical method first. Okay, classical. Learn to read the musical sheets, left hand, right hand, knows where to press the key, and then try to play this like in the strictest way possible. Okay, very strict, very annoying at first, but once you're able to play it, it's kind of nice, really nice. Okay, let's try again. So obviously this though, because I have to refill the keyboard for this to make sense, because I'm trying to show you. Anyhow, I always know the most bottom is the C. That C and that C over there. That's C, E, G. If I go lower, what is gonna be? It's A. It's actually A. If I go any lower, because I need to change this into lower one octave, so I should, if I have 4 octave, it will be easier. I should be able to press this easier, and then also press the okay. You should be able to place your hand and then press those keys very quickly. That will be C and E. So first part, it's doing it twice, right? It's looping the same keys. That chord is actually C chord. That's a D minor. It's G, G7, okay. Perfect A, okay, perfect A. I'm checking. Go slower right now. It's getting tricky From this part to the next one is kind of tricky, but you see, okay, that's the middle C, and the notes before it is the, you know, two step before that. Now it goes low, it goes to this D. It goes to keys that I'm not very familiar with, but it sounds nice. That's the thing. The thing with music, I think with the jazz players, you're no longer, maybe you're not memorizing the chord, but you kind of knows the interval and what keys that sounds good. So yeah, I'm still learning, so continue with this practice. That's definitely F, right? Without looking, I know F, and then goes two steps up. And then without looking, let's see if my hand still is doing it properly. Now that's gonna be too low for my keyboard, so I need to go one step down. So that means this becoming here. So that's actually the G. And the right hand goes kind of low. That's the C. Goes down. Yeah, it sounds good. And I can just keep going, and I could mark every note. It's not recommended, but you know, back in the days, my teacher actually marked the number there, so it's easier to press for me. So the point, I think my main point is you should be comfortable where to you press your you place your left hand or right hand with the keyboards. You know, you know the landmarks, the C and the G, and it should translate from the sheets, and then also learn the interval. This is like next to each other, but this is like you skip every step, right? Some classical music doing that, sometimes doing this. I found this Yeah, sometimes doing that, but also it's doing this sometimes. So what I found, is that always having this kind of augmentations of melody you press. Your hand can be anywhere, but you should be able to feel it. And then, okay, this is G, right? This is G, and then this is C, middle C. Always know where the middle C is. And then left hand also need to learn where to place itself, and then it knows where to press the notes, and then where to find the next notes. Maybe C, like the E, and then also the interval. That's a C with a E, and yeah. So that's the basic pretty much, and what you press, it's not, if you just press this one by one, it's gonna go to every note, but also you're missing the black key, because the black key is either using that symbol, or what do they call it? The way I learned it is a crest or mol. That's a mol. If it's a like hash, that's a crest. This MIDICulous app is very useful. This is the free version, by the way. You can upgrade, but this is the free version, and it gives you this. GarageBand on the Mac. GarageBand on the Mac actually give you the chord. The key also, I don't know, but I think having key and the chord all the time is very useful. I wish the Vision Pro there's an app for Vision Pro that able to show you the key and the chord always like a touch bar, That's gonna be so useful. But yeah, that kind of app is super useful. If I go further, I haven't gone this far, So this one definitely goes lower and lower until the end, but I need to go lower here. My guess that's a G, and then that's the Re, D. No, that's the F. So I keep repeating that part until I look at the next one, and then I know the next one will be. Here during my learning, there's a piano sheets we are reading, and we should transfer this into our hands, and hopefully magically our hands will follow, right? But we know the rhythm. The pattern here is very simple. The pattern is always 2 musical notes at the bottom, and then 3 musical notes with the right hand. And it's very simple. Like I said, it's very simple piece, prelude, and then there's also this fuga. Okay, fuga I haven't played. Yeah, this part's tricky. There's interval. Left hand not even playing. If we want to actually learn the piece, we play it really slowly. Play really slowly and then left hand also play it really slowly, but using left and right hand. Yeah, this one is tricky. Tricky. And even trickier if you go like, don't pick a song like this. It's a little bit crazy. Oh, I don't know why this song is kind of weird. Yeah, that's kind of weird, but it's doing that. Yeah, this song also, not sure why it's like that somehow. We got that also happening. I don't know what's going on, but I think I'm just gonna stop here.